everyone, welcome back to the 3-hour news show, and you are now watching our signature segment, See the Stories. Now, as we've mentioned before, tomorrow, July the 23rd, we will celebrate National Children's Day. Now, as parents, we definitely want good things for our children. However, in reality, sometimes things cannot be too ideal. Like, for example, for me, a parent that does not have any helper, and I'm also a working mom, sometimes I have to expose my child with gadgets.
Yes,
in order for me to do the house chores, to get that done.
Yes.
What about you?
Yes, and actually the challenges of being a parent nowadays is the rapid development of multimedia, especially gadget and technology. So how actually we deal with it, before we talk about it, let's take a look at the story.
Technology advancement has a huge impact on parenting today. Children are now growing up amidst gadgets, the internet, and social media. Parents must find a balance between the benefits of technology in education and connectivity with the risks of overexposure or age-inappropriate content. The use of technology also affects the form of parent-child communication, as well as the challenges of managing screen time.
Parenting is indeed an exciting journey, but also full of challenges. To face the changes and complexities, parents need to adapt, learn, and support each other in an effort to create an environment that is loving, understanding, and provides a solid foundation for the children's future. And to learn more about parenting children in the age of screens, we have here with us in the studio psychologist Wuri Ardianingsih. Hi, Wuri. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely. Well, first of all, we know that based on some research and studies, gadgets have somewhat drawbacks. That's right. That's the word I'm looking for the children themselves. Now, but they live in the digital era where the society is expecting them to be tech savvy, right? And it's impossible for us to not give them gadgets. They need that, right? Now, before we dive deeper into this, first of all, I would like to ask the benefit first. The benefit of using gadgets in children.
Yeah. True. We know that now this generation is called Generation Alpha, which is characterized as a digital native generation. So since even they were still in the womb, they have been exposed to digital stuff, right? And of course, there are always two sides of a coin.
Right.
We know there are so many disadvantages, but of course we cannot against the technology, because now we are here. And the benefits of using gadget, of course, there are some benefits in terms of the cognitive development. We know with the use of technology, our children can reach the information, they can get information from so many resources, which can improve their knowledge, broaden their perspective, and also boost their memory. And some educational content can also help children to stimulate their cognitive, like some games can help them to, create strategy, make decision, and some games also can boost their memory, so on and so forth. So there are also benefits, but again, the point is we have to balance between the benefits and the drawbacks.
Okay. And now, what are the disadvantages of gadgets for their cognitive development?
Right. So in order to understand the disadvantages of gadget, we have to understand how the brain work and how the brain develop. So as we know, I'm sure that you all know that within the first 5 and 6 years of our first life, it is called as a golden period where the brain grows rapidly, especially in the first 2 years of children's life. The brain grows very rapidly, in which the neurons create so many connections, which will influence the development of the foundational skills like language development, the visual and hearing, so on and so forth. But the thing is, those connections can only be acquired through the real interaction with the environment. So in the first 2 years, our brain will develop through the senses. So they need to touch, they need to hear, they need to feel all those stimulation from the environment in order to develop their cognitive skills. While using gadget, our children will only, use their hand, and they will be in a sedentary position for long period of time. So it won't be beneficial for the cognitive development. And also, there are some research shows that using gadget too much will decrease your ability to stay focused and shorten the attention span.
That is actually right, and I notice when my child is watching too much TV, he has a hard time in managing his emotions. Like,
It's true.
he's not as patient as usual, so that explains why.
So it's actually from the point that you explained before. So it's better to watch like for example digital video or some things like that after 2 years then.
Yes. So there is guideline from the WHO about screen time, and the guideline is before 2 years old. It's not recommended for the children to access gadgets. Yeah. So we need to give them a rich opportunity to explore their environment in the real world.
Okay. So how about like me, for example? I'm already I have a 1-year-old girl at home, and I already let her watch YouTube. So how to make sure, like to ensure that my children is actually use gadget but still in a healthy way?
Yeah, I do understand.
Yeah.
You're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone. So I think first of all, we know that technology is very attractive, right? There's lots of interesting stuff inside the gadget. So we have to create the same, as attractive as, attractive environment to the children. So we need to provide alternatives to all children. So we can, for example, provide books or other educational toys, or even the simple stuff like they can engage in nature. We can invite them to participate in house chores, for example, like the simple stuff. So give them alternatives so they can understand that gadget or playing game online is only one option for spending their time. So it's not the only option for them to spend their time. So provides all the alternatives is very important.
Okay.
It's very important, especially you are expecting another one, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations!
You're giving her too much pressure, definitely.
Oh, okay.
All right, now, Wuri, you touched on this a little bit, and Krizia too, now, the psychological effects on children having too much of screen time.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more a little bit, on that?
Yeah, I think the most striking effect is in the way our children can build healthy interaction with, real interaction with another human, because watching too much, screen can decrease your ability to understand social cues, like facial expression and gestures, so on and so forth. So when they are in social situation, they might find difficulties in understanding what is happening and what should they do and how can they overcome the challenges in the social situation. And that's also influenced their ability to empathize with other people. Yeah, because what the computers cannot do is those human skills, right? The social, emotional skills. How can we regulate our emotion? How we can empathize with others? So I think that's the most striking impact on, using too much gadget.
I see. How do we choose the right things to watch or the right games? What are the red flags that we have to point out in, for example, in movies and series or in games? So we know what to give our child and what to not give them.
Okay. First of all, we all know like the red flags, like we need to avoid any contents that involve violence, and not only the physical violence but also like verbal violence.
Yeah.
We also need to consider that, and we also need to understand the development of our child. For example, like children below 5 years old, they need to move a lot.
Yeah.
So if we see that the video or the game that they are playing invite them to play more than 1 hour, we need to consider that as well. And we also need to see whether the content of the video involves too many visual stimulation, because that will also influence their ability to stay focused and again influence their attention span as well.
I see. Perhaps you have some recommendations for our viewers at home. For example, like series. What series are best for them?
Well, I will not say best, but there are some...
Not overstimulating, maybe.
Yeah. Some series or some program, I think we have already known some of them, like Sesame Street series. I think that's also educational. And nowadays, they also incorporate new character about digital that will help the children to navigate their life into the digital era. So I think that's also helpful for them.
Okay, nice. Yeah, but what do we do if, like, for example, our child shows symptoms of addiction or obsessive behavior towards gadgets?
Right. So first thing first, we have to limit the time.
Yeah.
We need to limit the time. Again, if we already set an agreement, we need to make it happen. And then we also need to increase our interaction with our children. Because if we interact more with them, we engage with them during the play or social interaction at home, they will feel fulfilled emotionally, so they will not, too occupied to the gadget. And also, we also need to synergized with our spouse or other adults at home. So we have the same vision about the limitation of using gadget at home.
So about the time, do you have like some like limit per day for, like, for example, like children for 2 years old?
Okay, for children below 2 years old, there's no screen time.
It's like 0.
Yeah.
Okay. So, maybe for
after
above,
2 to 5 years old, it's recommended not more than 1 hour per day.
Oh, okay.
And like elementary school student, they can access like 2 hours.
Okay.
Outside the educational purposes, because now we know that our children needs to access internet as well for their tasks and assignments. So outside the educational purposes, 2 hours max per day.
Noted.
Yeah.
Now,
Good luck.
yes, well, thank you. Can you tell us some tips on how kids these days, how can they be better with or be safe using gadgets, or what kind of be safe online, having them going online, whether it's learning or just watching for leisure? Is there? I'm sure there is. So can you share with us the tips on how to be safe for our children to do that?
Okay. First thing first, we have to adhere the minimum age requirement.
That's a good start.
Because every social media has those rules, right? So we have to make sure that our children has reached that minimum age before we allow them to enter the social media world. And then we have to set discussion with them to discuss about what they can do, what they cannot do during online. And we have to help them to understand what stays on, what online will stay online, So they can post anything, they need to think before they post anything, Think first before we share anything online. So that's the thing that we need to prepare before we allow them to enter the social world. But another thing that is also important is we need to build trust. Not only we trust them, but also they trust us. So if there's something happen online, they know where to run. They know that they can share everything, anything to us, so we can also protect them, and we can monitor, we can help them, guide them during their journey on social media.
Yeah.
That's good, because again, I have a 5-year-old about to be 6 in about less than a month, and I have a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, wow.
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 Challenging.
Very challenging. Yeah.
Very challenging. Well, we're gonna take a quick break right now, guys, but after that, don't go anywhere, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna continue this discussion with Wuri. Stay tuned.